guys, long awaited return to my favorite Boston musicians here, coming at you with a very unexpected surprise. I'm doing this again, and not because I was asked, but because I was asked. And sorry, Brad, I didn't email you sooner. Shit happens and shit happens and shit, and I forget. And then, alas, I'm reviewing. Today, we're reviewing Girl on Girl Violence, or The Evening Redness in the West by Girl on Girl Violence. This is the newest album slash band slash project by musician, poet, and Boston native Bradford Barker, whose albums are no stranger to this YouTube channel, under countless names like Death Snail, At Stansbury's, Cock, and like a dozen other unlisted, uncredited. Listening to Denison Records production gives me the same feeling I did when I first listened to it, and that it didn't get any easier. There's very little change in production value, but I think that's the charm. To my knowledge, most of this was recorded on Audacity just by the digitally sounding effect that happens when you record some shit on like a webcam and then use the noise canceling, whatever the fuck that noise reduction filter on. Some of the tracks don't have that, some of them do, but I'm assuming it doesn't have that old style cassette roll and click sound that was on Oatmeal. The album begins with Oh Caroline. Like most Brad songs, this follows a girl who he met serendipitously walking up and down the streets. And I won't lie, the mix is just as shitty as the first Brad song I ever heard. You can hear every bass hit pummel the sides, left side, right side of your ear. The little pitched up leads squelching in the background over a relatively put together set of chords, but the distortion rather muddles all this like tense, uncomfortable energy. But as an opener, I can't see a better Brad song. His production style seems intentionally standoffish and a little obscured on purpose, and that's kind of like a running theme with a lot of the intro tracks for these albums. The next song is called Beautiful Agony. This one's in the style of a sappy love song. If it didn't have such lazily strung guitars, this would sound like a Pixar movie intermission song written by like Silver Chews or something. Though the song's obviously about love and loss and hating yourself and rewinding your own sex tape until the button on the remote falls off. Yes, despite the subject matter, I find the song enjoyable, especially the little harmonica solo. Also, in the back of the mix there was what sounds like a little keyboard clack. It also could be like a hand clap or something. It sounds like someone's entering the space bar in my left ear. This could just be me, or it's just a tapping noise, I'm not sure, but it was a funny detail I picked up on. The third track is called Brad Barker's Dream, and it's probably my favorite song on the album, at least it's the one I've replayed the most. This track really does kind of feel like a dream, or like early morning. I really like the bass line on the track, keeping it with this stomp clap beat and hymn-like singing I wrote the first time, but it's more just like the regular way that Brad sings. It's honestly really somber and downbeat. Even with this wailing harmonica, it still makes everything feel more sorrowful. The lyrics illustrate time and nature, time and people. God is mentioned at least once in the lines, Lord my God, yes it is true, I've kissed a lot of lips. Can't count those I've tasted, but can tell you those I've missed. I like the little part after in the chorus when he's like, I think about you on a mountain. Definitely eerie and one of my favorites on the record again. The next track is called Love in the Time of Spank Wine. Fuck, I always fuck this. This is the first real solo guitar and vocal song, and I don't know if it's true, but it sounds like Gavin Kane is playing guitar in the background. It's just that finger-picking style that I know him for. It could be Brad. I could just be making shit up at this point, but I listened to enough Denison Records to maybe I'm schizo. The song's pretty cut and dry. The lyrics kind of start with, if you heard my song, would you know it's about you, girl? It's all about you. The song continues with a couple repetitions of this phrase with a different switch in between. And while I understand and I can relate to this emotional state, I wasn't the biggest fan of the production and the execution, but I'm sure it's someone's favorite. I found myself relating to more of the raw style when it's paired with more raw, abrasive production, like when it's not just guitar and vocals. Walmart Parking Lot is about being fucking broke and being a musician. If I only had $1 for every song I wrote about being in a Motel 6, I could rent a room and a mirror and I'd sing a million words about wanting to free myself or something along those lines. Another line later, which is one of my favorites, would be I see whiskey become fire in a man's eyes. I see fires in the distance in the mountains at night. I see people suffer fates. The next track is called 69 Dream. It's a dissonant dream, not much else to add besides the layers end nicely enough. The next track is The Girl Who Lives on Winter Hill. Another folk ballad about wondering if your ex still talks about you when they're hammered, which is not uncharted territory for Brad, but is rather fitting alongside the other tracks. And once again, Brad hits with these very album signature sounds, let's call them. The close mic'd harmonica, which gets two pretty solid solos, but it's definitely mixed too fucking loud. We're really freewheeling it around here. Next track is called Nothing, a song about nothing, but really a song about how nothing happens to Brad, which honestly makes for one of my favorite songs. His poignant observations about the world around him and his reaction are nice to hear, especially the last verse talking about how when he's done with the song and he puts the guitar down, he's gonna go outside and have a smoke and no one will look him in the eyes. It has one of the strongest hooks and melodies on the whole album. I love the bendy ass guitar on it, kind of a gold star for me. Golden, what is the other Brad taste in music? Does he a golden ball, like a smiley ball? Paul Simon enters into Heaven, a low-pitched song with lonely guitar and very heavy atmospheric effects and stringed hearing in a weirdly creepy way. I don't know if this is a cover or it might be like a Final Omen by the sounds of it. God, I can't believe that's what I wrote. George and Lenny Are Dead is another kind of organ song with fucking crazy shout singing, very Highway 69. Sorry, I keep using Bob Dylan references in this video, but it's just a little Bob Dylan-y, not in the sound of voice, but you know what I mean. Kind of muddled production as usual. I wasn't able to make out the vocals precisely, but it kind of sounded like a hodgepodge of phrases and complaints, which is like most of Brad's songs. I do like this song overall, structurally, and I've kind of heard this song before, but just without like the banjo and the harmonica on other Brad-related solo projects. I like the style that he's kind of going for. End of Girl on Girl Violence, which acts as, you know, the end of the album. It's an emotional little dream ballad of sorts in this more free-form way with dissonant guitars and noise taking over, out-of-body vocals. They have a lot of reverb on them. It becomes its own distortion. I think the song is about getting drunk and spiraling out of control because there's allusions to bottles and that sort of business. I can't be sure, but I'm left wondering what the point of the girl-on-girl violence of it was, you know. I'm not sure, maybe I missed something. Also, my fucking cat. Look at him. What a perfect screen grab. That's my review for this video. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to listen to the album, it'll be in the description, or you can just look up Denizen Records and it'll be there. Not too sure about the future of this project. Like, you know, girl on girl violence seems kind of like, it seems like maybe it's a new thing. Maybe this is going to be something like all the other Brad things are, but knowing Brad, maybe this is just like I'm just gonna put this shit out and then move on to something else. I was supposed to review the greatest hits, which I did recognize when I was listening to it. I did recognize some of the songs. Look at his ass. Maybe I should just have him do the video, you know what I mean? He looks so angry. Anyway, if you wanna listen to it and shit, go listen.